Hello, welcome. I see Mumsy in the house and Chalet in the house. It's your birthday. Happy birthday to you. You live in a zoo. You look like a monkey and you act like one too. Whee! You're multitasking. All right. Oh, let's see. I think I can go. Look at this. Excellent, excellent. Well, we're here today to talk about Cambodia. And so the topic I chose for today is living expenses. Like, what's it really cost to live here? And so I made a little PowerPoint. I uploaded it into the system, into Streamlab, so I can share the slides easy with you. However, when I do that, I can't zoom in. I was kind of wanting to be able to zoom in. Look at all the emojis from Chalet. Yay, and cupcakes. Well, I hope you have an amazing birthday today with all your family. But for us here in Cambodia, what does it cost? What does it cost to live here? Maybe you're just curious. It doesn't mean that you want to move here or anything. Like I live here. I love it. Yeah, I know not everybody, wants to move out of the country, out of wherever their country is and come to live in Cambodia. Maybe some people do. Maybe some people watching this, they are very interested in moving to Cambodia and they want to know, well, what's the reality like? So why don't we just get to it? And then, of course, please ask me questions. If there's anything that you think, well, what about this or what about that? And I don't mention it, ask, And if you're watching live, then obviously use the chat. But if you are watching on a replay, then leave a comment and I'm sure I'll get to it. Cecile is here. Cecile is here from Paris. Wow. Thank you so much for joining, Cecile. And yeah, if I forget anything, you can fill in the blanks as well. And I hope that your health, let's everybody say a quick prayer for Cecile. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much that Cecile's here with us today. And we know that she's dealing with some health issues. So we just lift her up to you and pray for your healing in Jesus' name. Amen. All righty. So let me share my PowerPoint. Here we go. Real living expenses in Cambodia. So what I'm going to cover, things that you should budget for, are your housing, your transportation, your food, your entertainment, gifts, and medical. And one thing that I just remembered that's not on this list, your visa. If you're not Cambodian, Cecile's Cambodian, she doesn't have to worry about a visa, paying for a visa. But yeah, the rest of us, we have to pay visas. And so let me just get that out of the way. It's $30 a month. And you cannot renew a tourist visa more than once. All right. So if you're coming to just visit, you're going to be here for a couple of weeks. Traveling Fools also in the house. And you're just going to be here, 4 weeks, maybe 5 weeks. You can renew that tourist visa once for an additional $30. Okay. But that's it. After that, you have to go out of the country. So if you're actually moving here, then you want to enter on what we just call it a business visa. Technically, it's an e-visa. And then that can be renewed indefinitely. Now, I think 55, 50 something, all right, maybe 55 is the retirement age for Cambodia. So you can get a retirement visa, cost the same, no difference in cost. You don't have to show any paperwork. They just look at your passport and the date you were born, and then you can get a retirement visa. Anybody else younger will need to get a work permit. Okay. If you have a job, if you actually come here and you get a job for a company, they will usually take care of that for you. They will tell you what they need, and it's about $170 or around $200, I think, for the work permit. And then your visa, again, it's like $30 a month. You could get 3 months, you can get 6 months, you can get a year, you can get 5 years. You just have to pay the amount. You just multiply it. But there's usually a little bit of a discount when you're paying for a year. So a year's around 300. 6 months, I think, was 178. So you need to budget for your visa. Cecile says she'll be back in Cambodia in April of next year. So that'll be good. Do they have VOA there? What's VOA? Visa on arrival. Good question. They want you to get an electronic visa before you arrive. And the airlines will check, do you have your visa before they let you on board the plane? But I think you can still slip through, and they do have a visa counter at the new airport. There is a visa counter, but they have kiosks, and so they make you like do everything in this kiosk. Yeah, but when I went to the US, I already had a year visa, which is multiple entry. So I didn't have to pay anything. But I did, when I got there, they made me like use the kiosk to fill in information, and then I went through the border control. But I think they don't want to do visa on arrival. They're trying to eliminate it. But there are scam websites, and you pay for a visa and it's not the government. So you want to have like .gov.kh on the website that you're using, so be careful about that. Mumsy says she's doing great. She misses me, but you were glad that I visited, and you're glad to hear that Cecile's doing better. Okay, so I think that covers the visas and the work permits. If you're freelance and you're not working for a company, the travel agencies that do visas for you can also process a work permit for you. It is possible to get one, and I don't know what you have to fill out for freelance, but it is possible. But if you have a company, they just take care of it for you, and that's part of the negotiation. Like when you're negotiating your salary, you can negotiate. Will they pay for your visa? Will they pay for your work permit? So anyway, that's that. So let's move on. And again, ask me any questions anytime. So first is housing. Some prices. You're usually going to find an apartment for about $150 a month, up to $500 a month. I would say is like a normal range. Siem Reap tends to be in the $150 to $250 kind of range. It's a lot less expensive for your actual apartment when you're in Siem Reap. or in any of the other, if you're out in the countryside, you know, you're probably not going to have an apartment as much as some kind of house. Let me get situated in my chair and comfortable. It's going to be more basic, usually with 150. And they're usually furnished with some basic furniture. You'll usually have a bed. Sometimes there's a couch and everything. Oh my gosh, I have my volume turned down, but let me actually silent my phone so I don't hear those notifications. Yeah, maybe a refrigerator. Their refrigerators are more common now. There may be a ceiling fan. They're probably not going to have like just a standalone fan. You're probably going to have to purchase that yourself, which is one of the later slides. So dishes, pots and pans, probably should have put that in housing. Those initial costs that you're in, unless you're staying in a guest house, you make a deal with a guest house because you're not going to cook. You're just going to eat out all the time. Yeah, you're going to have some expenses with that. Get yourself a coffee cup, you know, and a couple of glasses. The condos tend to be more like starting around $250, I would say, and up to as much as $1,000 a month, depending on what kind of amenities that you have. Condos will tend to have a pool, exercise room. Maybe there's a spa available in the building that you would have to pay for your massages and stuff, but there would be a spa available. Sometimes there's a restaurant or at least some kind of small cafe, some kind of small little grocery store, like a 7-Eleven type thing. Those tend to be amenities inside a condo, right? And then you can get a shop house or a terrace house, maybe 500, starting at 500, depending on where it is, maybe up to 1,500 a month. So a shop house has an entry at the ground, on the ground level, that you can turn into a shop, right? Or you just use it as your garage. It's either a garage if you don't want to sell anything, or you can make a shop out of it. And the terrace house tends to be like a shop house, but it has a little bit of a yard. And then, of course, there's the villa, which is the standalone house, which is what I live in now. And they can be $1,000 to $3,000 a month. And they can be older, houses, or they can be like brand new. All of the barets, the gated communities that are brand new and popping up everywhere, they have all of these, and the terrace house would include like duplexes too. They'd be in the same price range. So they'll have duplex, shop house, terrace house, and villas all within the gated community. All right. Next slide. So here are some pictures. Again, I wanted to be able to zoom in, and it doesn't look like I'm able to do that when I have this slideshow uploaded into Streamlab. So I will just point out, can you guys see my cursor? Like right now I'm circling on one of the pictures. Can you guys see that? Or you can't see my cursor moving around in a circle? Somebody let me know if you see my cursor moving around in a circle. I'm thinking it probably doesn't show my cursor. Okay, I'm not moving my cursor anymore. So we'll start at the top left. That's an apartment. It's 150 a month. No, you can't see it. Thanks. Okay. 100. So you can see it's $150 a month. It's in Phnom Penh. It's in an area called Tultumpong. Now, one thing that I know is sometimes you'll have, like it's not a high rise. I don't know, a medium rise. That's maybe 7 or 8 floors. And they don't put in an elevator. So this $150 a month is probably someplace that doesn't have an elevator. And then next to that, in the middle on the top, is a typical shop house. This only has like 2 floors above it. And you would get the whole thing from the ground and whatever's up. Sometimes they might be 2 or 3 floors on top of the Cecile. It was a joy to share these few minutes. You're off to a meeting in Paris. Bisous, bisous. Bisous, bisous. Okay, Cecile. See you later. You can see it clear as Stevie Wonder. I know. That's why I wanted to be able to zoom in for you guys. But you can, if you're on a phone, I'm sorry, but maybe you can watch it on a TV or a laptop or something later. If you're really interested to see these pictures, then maybe you could do that so you can see them better. Okay. Now, while I'm on the shop house, I want to mention that sometimes the apartments that you rent are the upper floors of a shop house. So either they give you a key to the shop house at the bottom and you have to walk through it because they'll lock everything up at night, right? So you have to walk through their shop house to the stairs in the back and then go up to your floor, to your apartment that you rent. Sometimes the shop houses have a kind of like an alley in the back. And so you're able to enter from the back alley, and there'll be a staircase, and then you go up to your floor, to your apartment. And it just depends. And then, so on the right side, on the top, this is also a shop house, but like one of these new gated communities that I was talking about, would look more like this. And it's going to be more, so it's going to be more expensive because it's new. All right, on the bottom, it's just another ad for an apartment, but I think it's $250. Next to that, with the smiley face on it, that's a condo. So they tend to be high rises, and you will rent one of the apartments. Somebody bought that condo. As foreigners, you can buy a condo. So if you want to come out and actually purchase, there might be 30, 40,000 up to 100,000 to purchase the condo. But a lot of people purchase them as investments and then rent them out. Okay, so there's a lot of rentals in condos. The next picture to the right of the smiley face is what I've been calling the terrace house or townhouse. So it's a house that's in a row of houses. I guess it could be called a row house as well, but it has a yard in front of it. Okay. So there's a gate and a yard and then the house. Those start around 500 if you're lucky. And then the very last one in the bottom on the right is a villa. That's a typical older villa. But just like the newer shop house that's at the top on the right, like I said, those areas, those gated communities will also have brand new villas. So they might be $2,000-$3,000, a month. If even the older ones, if they've been renting to like an NGO because an NGO will rent a villa for their staff, for their director, and pay for it. And so it's a perk of being the director of an NGO that you don't have to pay rent, because they're paying, you know, $2,000 and $3,000 a month for your villa. So that's rent, but there's more to housing than that. You have, so the top on the left, that's the electricity company. You're going to have to pay electricity. It's it's 25, well, it's less than 20, so maybe 20 cents per kilowatt hour. And your aircon is your biggest expense. So if you're running a refrigerator, you're running a fan, you're running light bulbs, you plug in your computer, it's probably about $20 to $30 a month. You know, an electric kettle. I recommend not having an electric stove or electric oven, because those will use a lot of electricity and your electric bill will go up. The gas is a lot cheaper. I didn't put, there you go. There's something I didn't put on here, is gas. Gas for cooking. That a big can of gas is like $13 to $15, and that lasts me about 6 months, at least, sometimes a year. When Chani was here cooking, it lasts about 6 months. When Chani wasn't here and I wasn't cooking as much, it lasts for a year. So it just depends on how much cooking you do. So that's just a little thing, but it comes around, you know. Now, if you're using your aircon, your electric bill can be $150 to $200 a month if you're using it a lot. The next picture is the water treatment plant. You do have to pay a water bill. Oh, there's trash collection. That's not on here. The water bill is like under $5 per month. Okay. And that's like doing laundry, watering the plants, taking showers, you know, everything like that. It's under $5 per month. It's very little, but it's important to know that that's something you have to pay. Sometimes if you're renting an apartment, the landlord will include the water. Okay. But they won't include the electricity. There will be a meter on your apartment for that. Water, though, most people will get bottles of water, which is the next picture to the right. You get the big, I guess it's 20 liters bottles of water. They're about $1 to $1.25 per refill. The first time you get it, it's like a $5 deposit on the bottle, and then you just refill it. And there's companies that will come and deliver that for you, or you can take it yourself, like in a tuk-tuk here. You know, here's some bottles in a tuk-tuk, to like your little local shop around the corner kind of thing, and exchange it. Next after that is internet. So these are some internet prices: 60 megabytes per second or whatever, $15, 100, $18, 250, $29, 400, $49, 500. So depending on the speed, is that there's your basic internet prices. And that's, and depending on the company, you can, like if you pay for a year, they'll usually do your installation for free. And you know, your modem and all of that, then you know it's they do have prices to pay for a modem and everything, but sometimes they'll include that on a special promotion or whatever. So I use Today Communications. I love them. They have the best service. There was one time that my internet went out, and it was because the dog chewed the wire outside, and so they came and they replaced all the wiring and everything, and they didn't charge me anything. They have amazing service. When I wanted to add a fiber optic cable, so I would have Ethernet to my computer, to my laptop. I mean, it's not a laptop, it's a desktop. Then I did have to pay like $15 or $20 for the wiring, but like not for the labor or anything like that. They came out and they ran the wire upstairs for me to be able to plug right in, so that I'm not, my computer when I'm doing my live streams is not dependent on my Wi-Fi signal from my modem. But the modem still works too. So like my phone is using the modem, but my desktop is using the wire. It's like here you pay for everything. Yeah. And I pay $36 a month for my internet. Then the next two pictures on the bottom, on the left, there's a place called Global House, which is like a Home Depot or a Lowe's that has all kinds of like building supplies and fixtures and things like that, and tools and whatever. So you may want to fix something up. Landlords don't always fix things. Sometimes you can push them, it's like, oh, my hot water heater went out, and and it's about $70 for a hot water heater. Some like that $150 apartment, it might not have hot water, and so you might want to go ahead and just buy your own hot water heater for $70 and have it installed in your apartment. And then when you leave, you just leave it there, but if you're going to be there for 6 months, for a year, for 2 years, paying the $70 to have that hot water heater might be worth it to you. And I mean, you can take it with you. I don't think the landlord would complain too much, but it just depends. I mean, I think it would be worth the cost to just install it, and it's a gift to the next person, because you got your value out of it while you were living there. But maybe you want to paint the walls. Most landlords don't mind if you do things, but if you've got some little, just small handyman kind of repairs, it's just better to just do it yourself. So that's a cost that you need to prepare for. There's also a Mr. DIY, which has a lot of items that you can use for decorating and things. So I did mention a little bit about furniture, because even if it comes furnished with the bed and a wardrobe, and maybe even a refrigerator, you still might want to get an additional cabinet for things. It may or may not come with a TV if you want a TV. I mentioned a kettle. There's a picture, the last picture on the very bottom is like an appliance store. The one I love to go to, Mexico is called, and I get all my appliances there. I bought a gas oven, which is like, it's a standalone oven that I just connect the hose to that big bottle of gas, and then just turn it on and turn it off, turn the gas valve on and off when I want to use it. And you might want to get a microwave. You might want to get an air fryer. You might want to get an iron. These are all kinds of things that you don't technically pack with you when you're moving. So, and if you're coming from America, all of the electrical things are on a different system, and it will fry it will fry your appliances. So even a hair dryer, you might want to get here instead of bringing one. Traveling Fool says, I used to always go to Ace Hardware in Indonesia. Made me feel at home. Now they're called Asco's. Okay. Yeah, Mr. DIY is kind of more like the Ace Hardware. And then the global house is more like Home Depot or Lowe's. Ace is the place for your helpful hand hardware man. That's right, Mumsy. And then at the very top, covering up the word expenses, is SIM cards. Like, so you need to get a SIM card, right? And most of the plans that, you know, have enough data and everything like that for you, especially if you're on Wi-Fi most of the time, but when you're out, you want to make sure that you have data. Then $6 a month. I have a $6 a month plan. I have 3 SIM cards. One that I use, one's my spare that I've designated the Americana number. My main one company is called Cell Card. That number I got when I moved here. So for 18 years, I've had this number on Cell Card. And then I also have Smart, a SIM card for Smart. Now, my phone is a dual SIM, so I can put my Smart number and my Cell Card number, and Smart is the name of another company. And then Metphone is the other big company. But I have 2 Smart SIMs and 1 Cell Cards SIM. And I pretty much I put $5 a month on my Smart card, on my Smart numbers, and then $6 a month on my Cell Card so that I have the plan activated. Yeah, furniture, appliances, they're not something that you have to do every month, but when you hear maybe you want to get a throw pillow, maybe you want to get a new set of sheets. Oh my God, let me tell you about sheets. The sheets come with a fitted sheet, a comforter, 2 regular pillowcases, and 2 long pillowcases for like those round, long pillows. And they can cost anywhere from $30 to $40 for a set, up to $70, $80 for a set, and more. But it seems like $70 to $80 is like a normal price for a set of sheets. And if you can find it for like 35 or 40, then you're doing good. But they do not come with top sheets. It's so hot, you know, but everything is a comforter. I guess maybe they feel like they're being insulated from the heat. I don't know. Sims are so cheap in Asia. It really lets you know how bad the companies are ripping you off in the US. I know. So when I was in the US, and everything here is in that set. You can't buy things individually. And so Mumsy and I went and you know, I was like, I need flat sheets. Give me, I just want the flat sheet, you know. But she got me a fitted and flat together, just the 2. Oh no, wait, and there was 2 regular pillowcases. And I think maybe that was from Costco or something. But so bring flat sheets with you. Also towels. You can buy towels here, but they're usually like some kind of blend or polyester or whatever, and they just like wipe. It's like wiping the water around. It doesn't absorb the water. So I collected some more towels from Mumsy as well to bring with me. As opposed to lumpy. Yeah. Oh my goodness. So yeah, that's some kind of housing things. I mean, I've got a desk I've got, sometimes you want, like, I've got this stacking tray to like put things on. You might want to get like a little thing, like, and this might be $2 or whatever, right? But it starts adding up. The light that I have, it's kind of like a bed light. It's not any kind of special ring light, although you can get those here. Fans. You want fans. The more fans you have, the less you need to use your aircon. Or you just turn on the aircon for like 30 minutes and get your room cold, and then turn it off, and the fans will just keep circulating that cold air. Thank goodness for mothers, I know. So fans, like a little small fan about this big, which is like kind of like what I have right here. It's about this big. Those cost about $20. If you want a larger fan that is like on a floor stand, they're gonna cost you $50 to $80, $50 to $100, depending on the brand that you get and the power that it has, and the type of blades that it has. You can have just cheap old blades that are going to break, or you could have like really good blades in it because it's a good quality fan that's going to cost you $100 for a fan. So these are things like to prepare for. And you don't have to buy a fan all the time, but yeah, you have to buy your own fans. Yeah, that's enough about that. Let's move on to transportation. So most people like to take tuk-tuks. The green one on the left top is very common. There are ride sharing apps, kind of like Uber and Lyft, but they're basically Grab is what I use most of the time. There's also PassApp. There's also Wow. There's a few different apps that you can use. I think they have a minimum of 2,000 to 3,000 real, which is like 50 cents to 75 cents. If you're just going around the corner, but it's hot or it's raining or something, and you're not going very far. Most of your rides are going to maybe be between 5,000 and 10,000 real, which would be between like $1.25 and $2.50. So the top green one is the more modern tuk-tuk, and the one below it is the older tuk-tuks, which are also called remorques. Mumsy says, like everywhere, the startup is expensive. Yeah, exactly. Get everything set up, Then, like I said, gosh, a fork, a spoon, a knife, they don't have cheap sets. They're like a dollar each, $1.50, $2 for one utensil, So things can add up getting started. It's going to be about the same price for the tuk-tuk on the bottom as the tuk-tuk on the top. However, if you're not using one of the apps, they will try to charge you more. They will try to get as much as they can. All right. The middle picture is me with Bob on my motorcycle, which is a scooter. Okay, it's automatic. I think it costs $1,300 or $1,500 to buy it brand new from the Suzuki dealership. I would not recommend using one when you first get here, because the system of traffic is a lot different. It looks very chaotic, but it's not as chaotic as you first think. There's a system. And until you understand that system and how it works, I do not recommend being on a scooter. Okay. But like me now, I zip around all the time, and I'm very cautious. I don't necessarily go slow. I mean, I zip around and can be pretty quick, but I'm constantly being aware of what's around me and what's ahead of me and what's behind me and everything, so that I can take defensive action if I need to. And then there are taxis, most of them using the same app, Grab and Pass app and such. I will always take a car unless I know the tuk-tuk driver, because they have their little corners that they hang out, right? So if you know the tuk-tuk driver that's near your house, and you know they're a safe driver, then by all means use the tuk-tuk. But I will never take a tuk-tuk from the app, because it's a random driver, and some of these drivers, the tuk-tuk drivers, do very dangerous maneuvers in the traffic. And I had a very good friend of mine that died getting hit by a car in a tuk. She was in a tuk-tuk and she got hit by a car and she died. So I will not use the tuk-tuks. I know lots of people love them, but they don't know anybody that's died, and I do. So I will not use them. I will use the car taxi. And I find it's about $2 more from whatever the cost is in the tuk-tuk. It's about $2 more to be in a car. So I'm gonna pay that extra $2 for my safety, and it's and comfort too. It's, you know, it's a lot more comfortable as well. So, but it's the safety. Smart, yeah. You know, so that's just me. But that transportation is going to be one of your biggest costs. And so I always tell people, if they are moving here, that they should stay in a guest house or some kind of rent, you know, short-term rental, until they learn all the different neighborhoods, they learn their lifestyle. If you want to be eating at restaurants all the time, then find a place next to, you know, in the area where all the restaurants are that you like. So you're not taking a taxi to go get food, right? And if you like cooking, and and we'll talk about food, I think, next, then be near the market that you use to get your food, whatever market that is, and you find some place to live close to it. If you're just like working and staying home, and you don't go out at all, and you just work and home and work and home, then your home should be close to your work, so that you're not you're not wasting time being stuck in traffic. You're not spending more money on your transportation to and from work. So there's that. And there are some public buses. I think it's 1,000 real, like 25 cents or so, to ride the bus. I want to ride one just so that I can experience it and tell you guys. But they're modern buses. I think it's just like being on a bus anywhere. It's not going to stop exactly where you need to go, right? It'll get you close. And so whatever, the same benefits and non-benefits of riding a public bus anywhere would be the same. So, food. Are you going to cook, or are you going to eat out? Or half and half? There are modern markets, like the one with the blue sky there at the top left is Super Duper. I love Super Duper. There's also Lucky's, Bayon's, Aeon Mart. Chipmunk has a supermarket. They say Thai Hut, Bayon, Lucky's. There's many modern supermarkets that have a lot of imported or comfort food. Super Duper gets more American food. French gets, Bayon gets more French food. Thai Hut has both French and American. They'll all have a little bit of everything, but they'll have the majority, probably based on the owner's preference. Below Super Duper, no, baby, no, I'm sorry. Is like a local market. You can see they're selling bananas and fruits and stuff, but you can get meat, vegetables, and you can get all your fresh foods and spices. You're not going to get canned food and stuff like that. No. But if you like cooking fresh, then you can go to the regular markets. And then in the middle, this would be like everywhere all over the city. Somebody will just set up a table in front of their house, and they have all these cooked dishes. There'll be some of pork, some of chicken, some of beef. Some will be the same every day. Some will change, and one day you'll have this, one day you'll have that. They're basically served with rice. They can do fried noodles. They can do fried rice. You can get one of these, like a main dish with rice, and take it home and eat it. And it'll be $1.25 to $2.50. So you can, if you eat like that, it's going to be super cheap. Then on the right side of your screen, on the top, there's a fancy restaurant. You can be spending $20, $30 on your meal, just the meal, right? Plus, their drinks might be $3, $4, $5, $8. You might want to get a bottle of wine for $20, $30, $40. So how often are you going to eat out like that? Right. Or below that is just a kind of a normal restaurant where you could probably get a burger for $4 or $5, $4.50, $5. And, you can order Khmer food, or you can order Western food. Club sandwiches are pretty big out here. They put egg on the club sandwiches. So I always just pick off the egg and take it home for the dogs. Salads. I mean, oh my gosh, it is so cosmopolitan here. There are people who come from all over the world. So there's Mediterranean food, from Lebanon. There's food from Turkey. There's Greek. There's Italian. There's French. There's German. There's Asian foods like Chinese and Japanese and Korean, Thai food, Singapore food, Vietnamese food. There's African food from African countries. I mean, there's just everything. There's vegan restaurants. There's a lot of Kobe beef restaurants from Japan. Yeah, just so much. And they're all different price ranges, and not so much American, other than like, I saw in the news that McDonald's is thinking about Cambodia. I'm not so happy about that. I don't know. I feel like McDonald's would ruin everything. Can I get fries with that? Yeah, absolutely. French fries are a big thing here. All right. So that's food. If I go grocery shopping, as far as money, if I go to Super Duper, I get something, some products at Super Duper, and then I go to the local market, I get products there. I might spend if I'm like really want to have good food and not worry, about $60 a week would be comfortable. Cheese is expensive. Milk, dairy, anything cheese, super expensive. Local fruit, really cheap. Strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, real expensive. Okay. And I mentioned the prices on how much meals cost. Okay. Entertainment. Some people, there's plenty of free things to do. You can go to the Independence Monument. You can go to Wat Phnom costs a couple of dollars. The Royal Palace costs a couple dollars. The National Museum costs a couple dollars. You can walk along the riverside for free. There's the Soros Museum, which is amazing. There's tons of museums. They usually have a small fee. But there's also cinemas now, theaters, movie theaters. There I am on the top left with Cecile and her friend Cecile. This is a VIP. They have normal cinema. They even have IMAX, and they have a new thing now too. I don't remember what it's called, but I see it when they do the movie trailers, where you've got the screen in front, but they also have screens that go on the side. They have that here too. In addition to, there's an IMAX screen as well. I think there's only one, but there's one. The VIP is $11 to $14 per ticket. If you watch Frugal's channel, you'll see he often goes to the movies and pays like $2, but it's usually just a local Cambodian movie. The blockbusters. I don't know. Yeah, if you're just going in the regular cinema with the regular seats, it can be like $3 or $4 to go see a movie. Below that is a performance art. There's the circus there's a circus show. There's different shows like that, and they'll cost a couple of dollars to go. They're charities pretty much that need to make money. There's a lot of Cambodian this is Cambodian, but I mean like the Apsara type of the Royal Ballet type of performances. Those are definitely going to be more charitable. It might cost $10 for a ticket because it's kind of like a fundraiser when you go to see their performances. In the middle on the top is a symphony. Again, you're going to pay $10, maybe $20 for the ticket because it's helping support the musicians. On the top on the right, there's more than one water park. Those you might spend $15 on admission, but then you're probably going to eat when you're there, maybe buy some water and stuff. Below that is an art gallery. It's usually free to go to an art gallery, but hey, maybe you want to support the artist and buy one of their works, And then last, in the middle on the bottom is a picture of the beach. Maybe you want to, you're going to go on the weekend, you want to go to one of the islands, or you want to go to the mountains, or you want to go camping. Or maybe you want to go to Siem Reap and see Angkor Wat, or maybe you want to go to Battambang. You want to do some traveling within the country. You're going to have to pay for your bus. You're going to have to pay for your hotel or guest house or hotel, but your accommodation. You could take the train. So these are all things that you have to think outside of your normal budget of what you would spend. Or maybe you want to see a movie once a month. That it would become like a monthly budget. There's concerts. There's all kinds of performances. There's the Phnom Penh players that do plays. I actually helped volunteer on Streetcar Named Desire when they did that, because that's my favorite play. And it was amazing. It was an amazing performance. I mean, and they did several nights, and tickets to something like that, I think, are like in that $10 to $15 range. So there's plenty to do. Maybe for entertainment, you want to go out drinking, or you want to go to the clubs and go dancing. So these are all things that are available that you, according to your lifestyle, you need to add into your budget. Gifts. I put this in here because guaranteed you will be asked to attend a wedding. And there's a wedding season where you might be invited to 2 or 3 weddings in a week. Each time you go to a wedding, you have to give money. You don't give a boxed gift. You give money in an envelope. And there's no set price. You can give $10, you can give $20, you can give $50. Whatever you have in your budget that you want to do, you can do it. I would say $10 is like the minimum that you should give. If you're really, really, really strapped and you gave $5 and all you can do is give $5, they're not going to turn you away. So, but you have to give something. All right. And that's not to mention if you, at Christmas time, you want to do a little something for some people, or their birthdays, normal things that we think of as gifts. You're going to make friends and they're going to have birthdays. So what are you going to do? So you should plan for that. And the last one is medical. So I know you guys can't see on here. I can actually share the screen itself, because I do have this tab open on. Let's see how it looks. Okay, there we go. So, for example, Sunrise Japan Hospital, excellent. What you can do rather than insurance is you can prepay a package. If you get bronze for $10, then basically you're entitled to go to a health seminar. Right. But if you go silver, $120 and $10 to register, then you're going to get a 10% discount off of your services. Okay. And you're going to get a basic annual checkup package. So you're going to be able to go like once a year, and they will do a basic checkup on your heart and your lungs and things, and make sure your health is okay. All right. $120. For $320, you get an advanced checkup package every year where they do it detailed. They run blood tests and they do everything. You can look at the list of everything that's included. And then you also get a 20% discount if you break your leg, or you're sick, you're just sick, and you want to go to the doctor and get prescribed antibiotics or something, right? And so you're just going in for something like that, then you get 20% off. I've been before. I did get, they might have changed this, because I think I had it wasn't $120. I don't know, maybe it was like $50 and it's gone up now. So I think I paid more than 10. Maybe I just paid $10 and I was bronze, but I got like a discount, I thought. But the nice thing is that they actually have you in their system already. So when you go, they have your files and everything. You don't have to, you just show them your card and they take care of you, you know. When I tore my ACL, okay, so that's a type of situation you don't need to be emergency life flighted out to Bangkok or Singapore or Ho Chi Minh City, you know, that I tore, but you need medical attention. So I went here, they did an MRI. This is my first time and my only time I've had an MRI. You know, the doctor ran whatever tests he needed to do, and he did the MRI and discovered that my ACL was torn, and gave me prescription or whatever. And all said and done, I think it was $250, maybe $300, but I think it was under $300 for an MRI, and for the doctor, and for the medicine, and everything, right? You all know that when I went to Central Hospital because I couldn't breathe because of the friggin' postnasal drip that I had, and it was making me cough, and the coughing was triggered in a way that I couldn't breathe in. So I went there, and I ended up staying there in the hospital for 2 nights. And that was just under $3,000. So it would have been nice to have some kind of like local health insurance that could have paid for that. However, if you think, well, if I save up, if I put $100 a month toward into a savings account that's just for medical, then you would have $1,200 at the end of 1 year, which is going to mostly cover most anything. And at the end of 2 years, if I had been putting $100 a month aside, I would have had enough to pay for that Central Hospital visit. You know, I do pay for an emergency policy that will pay for a life flight thing if necessary and stuff. And that I pay $100 a month, $100 a year for that. I think that's important to have. You got to run. Okay, bye, Chalet. Bye, Chalet. Well, that's it. Actually, that's the last. That was the last screen. So hide that. That's it. I'm done. Does anybody have any questions about any other expenses that I forgot? Oh, the trash is, I don't know, $1 per month, I think. Back with the housing, when you have electric and water, you do need to pay for trash collection. I think it's $1 a month. I live in a gated community, so I also have to pay like a homeowners association, HOA kind of thing, and that's $30 a month because I live in a villa. But if you live in the shop house, it's only $10 a month. Hugs, very interesting, good job. Thank you, Mumsy. So I hope it was interesting to learn this information. I hope it's helpful for anybody who is thinking about moving here to Cambodia. If you're not, then maybe it was just interesting. And so I hope that you know that love transcends time and space. So wherever and whenever you're listening, I love you. There it is. From me to you. Just take it. And tomorrow we'll play some kind of trivia game. I don't know if I'll make one or we'll just play one. But I'll come back online tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel. Eye opener. Well, good. Good. And yeah, so tomorrow we'll do that, and hope to see you again. And so until then, catch you later.